بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. نرحب بمستمعينا الكرام بالجلسة الرابعة والختامية اللي تتحدث عن مسار إدارة المعلومات، متطلبات بناء المجتمع. I would like to welcome all the attendees and the final and fourth session about information management track. In the first section of this session, I would present Mr. Zahar Haider talking about Cloud 2020. Welcome to the Hypered World. نرحب بالأستاذ زاهر يتكلم إن شاء الله عن الحوسبة السحابية 2020. أهلاً بكم في عالم الحوسبة الهجينة.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for coming, and I'd like to congratulate the organizer for this successful summit, and EMC is definitely proud to be a sponsor. We've been hearing for the past 2 days lots of nice things. We've heard about smart cities, we've heard about how to improve the customer mobility, how to improve the customer intimacy. We've heard about the ability of business to do some analytics to gain some business advantage. We've heard lots of nice things, and these are defining the future and the next few years in IT. What we believe is that at the heart of all these solutions, and as a key enabler or engine, is the cloud technology. We think that you cannot achieve what you need for any business, whatever industry you are in, without getting into the cloud technologies and adopting it as quick as possible. So this will be the topic of the session. We'll share with you what's our perspective, what we are doing in this space, and how we can help the different organizations to get on the cloud journey. So everything we've heard over the past 2 days, we summarize into something big that's is already started to happen. We call it a digital transformation. What are the elements of this digital transformation? First, the huge increase in data, right? We've been predicting for the past 5 years that data will reach 40 zettabyte plus by 2020. We are already on that journey. We already passed the first zettabyte, and we are gonna continue to increase data exponentially. And data is being generated in different forms and shapes and from different sources. The second thing is the connectivity of the individuals, right? Today, there is more than 3 billion people connected to the internet. And that number is growing, and the expectation that in the next 5 years, the whole worldwide population will have connectivity using, obviously, smart devices. So we will reach the 7 billion connected individuals or people to the internet. And the last but not least is something that was not necessarily foreseen in the past couple years, is the buildup of what we call Internet of Things. And today, again, we have like 3 billion devices, from cars to airplane engines to some other smaller appliances that are already smart and they are connected to the internet. That connectivity is gonna increase significantly. And the expectation is by 2020, it will be 30 billion devices connected to the internet. And that is a conservative figure, because there are lots of analysts that are saying it's 50 billion. So that's conservative to go to 30 billion. So that's fueling this whole transformation, and that's enabling the whole transformation. At the heart of this transformation is a term that we started to get used to. It's software-driven. Mark Anderson, a few years ago, Mark Anderson, he's the person that created the first web browser, the Mosaic browser, said a couple years ago that software is eating the world. And in reality, it is. Whatever is your business, whatever is your industry, if you are not using software fully to become digital and to gain better knowledge of your customer and gain customer intimacy and improve the overall customer experience, then you are probably going down the road of failure. There's lots of businesses, as we've seen lots of examples, they are actually starting in the digital space, right? And we've seen example about Uber and Airbnb and Square and these companies. So digital is the way to go. So that's the overarching headline. let's get down as expect here, there is lots of IT professional. What does this mean to us as IT professional? It means the following. In our data center, we are pretty much running different types of platforms. So we're still running the second, what we call is second platform, and these are the legacy Unix / similar type of mini computers technologies. Most of our data center are still running, and most of our applications are running on this platform. At the same time, because of the momentum of the digital transformation, lots of companies have started building a platform 3, maybe to create some specific cloud-native application, to improve the mobile experience of their customers, maybe to gain some flexibility on the development and operation functions. So we started building these. Now, platform 3 is characterized by full infrastructure availability and virtualization. That's a given now. We don't need to discuss about it. And platform 3 is obviously defined by new applications, offering new services, offering new functionalities for the business. We think there is an important step now in the middle, which we call platform 2.5. Platform 2.5, in simple term, is taking platform 2 to the cloud by implementing self-service and automation, and at the same time leveraging some of our existing infrastructure to be the basis for building the platform 3, right? So this is what's happening, and let's not forget that there are lots of businesses still running mainframes. They cannot get away from the mainframe yet. They still have maybe an airline reservation system on mainframe, maybe a core banking application mainframe, so that's still there. So that's what we as IT professionals have to deal with in the data center. Now, where we should focus, where we think is the focus area. We believe that the next phase in the journey for the next 2 years is actually platform 2.5. Is that ability to take everything we have and build the cloud capabilities, build IT as a service using cloud technologies is what we need to do next. And that's what we're seeing most organizations are doing. So if there is a focus top line item for a CIO to put on their agenda is essentially how can I build up my cloud capabilities now that I've done everything around virtualization and the rest. So that's where we believe is heading. And if we look at it from the dilemma of CIO, right, they are always pressured on the budget, and that pressure is not stopping. It keeps going and increasing. And lots of budget is being spent on traditional platform 2, and they are trying to put as much as possible budget to spend on the innovative solution. So that's a dilemma that they are living to. And there is a way to address this dilemma is by essentially going agile, building as much agility as possible in our IT infrastructure that will try to address this problem significantly. So you might have heard the term of bimodal IT. As CIOs, as IT professional, we're starting to live in like 2 worlds every day. I have a world where I need to optimize as much as possible my platform 2, and then I need to build up the capabilities for platform 3, and maybe sometimes become a broker rather than just an IT provider. So you will see here that a key component, we believe, in optimizing the platform 2, in optimizing our current data center, is building the cloud capabilities. So what are we bringing? What do we think is the right way to do it? Obviously, as technologies, there are lots of technologies out there to build cloud, right? And some of them are from EMC, some of them are not from EMC, some of them are actually open source. So the issue is not, the challenge is not about the components. The components are there. The challenge is how to integrate all these components and how to put it in a way that you can easily implement in an existing data center within the existing resources that you have. So this is what we are focusing on. And for the past 2 years, we've been researching, we've been investing lots of hours and resources in order to offer to the market a pre-bundled solution that can be cloud. So I can use the term that we are productizing the cloud. Instead of being a concept, it's now becoming something that you can order and you can implement within well-defined boundaries. Now, these are some specific, quick, high-level figures, is that you can implement using this model a cloud in a month time frame, right? That's not feasible if you are going to buy the component and assemble them yourself. You will have improvement on the infrastructure speed, and you will have improvement in the ability to procure new services, whether it's DR as a service, whether backup as a service, or whether even more sophisticated, the Hadoop as a service or big data as a service. So we think that the ability to bundle solution and to pre-integrate them is key. Now, obviously, when we say bundling solution, that means it has to be a bundled solution that can be integrated on day one, but also it has to be complemented with comprehensive delivery services so that it can be customized as needed for your environment. And eventually, you don't want to go to a million vendors to have the support, so it has to be support to a single entity. And that's what we are bringing in order to simplify the adoption of the cloud. Now, let's step back a little bit and think about another industry completely separate from IT. Right? Car industry. When was the last time some of you guys bought an engine, bought a gear, bought the wheels, tried to put a chassis for the car and build the car yourself? Most of us don't do this. Most of us, we learn how to drive a car, we go buy a car, and then we take the ready product. Right? It's much simpler, it's much reliable, it is less risk, because if I build my own car, I won't trust driving it on the highway. I don't think it will be safe enough. So that's the same concept we're trying to implement, and you can use the same concept for airplanes. Nobody builds airplanes on their own. They buy airplanes and they drive the airplanes, and that's it. They fly the airplanes. So the same concept we are introducing to the IT, and it takes implementing a cloud from an exercise that needs more than a year, a 1 year plus, to something that can be done in 1 month, realistically, and we do have lots of customers that have done this in the past. So it's about gaining the agility and giving the speed of the responsiveness in speed to the business. Now, I'm not gonna go into these details, I'm just gonna show you here that if someone wants to build a cloud on their own, there are lots of moving components. It's not simple, right? There is lots of things, the functionalities are complex, etc. So again, someone can say, I want to build it on myself. That's an option. We don't think this is the most cost-effective or the simplest option to do it, because there are lots of components in order to implement financial transparency, in order to implement automation, integration, etc. Right? So that's a very high-level picture of how many components one needs to look at if they want to build their own cloud. Now, there are two things that we need to take into consideration when we are building a cloud. We need to be able to build IT as competitive as the public cloud providers, right? And that means IT has to offer self-service. My users, they need to be able to provision the services they need without coming to me every time. That's a requirement of agility. So self-service is a key requirement. And the other thing is that should be anything as a service. If I'm telling the user you can only do the network self-service, but when you need a database, you need to come to me, that's not good enough. They will go and get the database maybe from Amazon or someone else. So in order to provide a comprehensive IT as a service, it has to be anything as a service and anything self-service with the proper SLAs. So not all applications will require the same SLAs. Different applications will require different SLA, and that's already catered as part of the solution. The other thing which is equally important is managing the life cycle of an application or a service. We talk to lots of customers, and they sometimes have hundreds of services, hundreds of applications. They don't necessarily know what they are used for, because it's an application or a service that was launched 10 years ago or 5 years ago and not necessarily used. So there should be a mechanism to manage the life cycle of an application from day one until the retirement phase, or until some form of archiving the data, if that's a requirement from a legal aspect, right? So if a government entity needs to retain data just for compliance perspective, that is also catered by this solution. So manage the whole life cycle of the application from A to Z. Now, when we are talking about cloud, and there are terms that are commonly used, there is private cloud, which majority of the application fit on a private cloud. However, there is some applications that will require, doesn't require being run in our own data center. So they can be leveraging some external service provider. And that's okay, as long as we manage them in the same, within the same framework. And that's exactly what we are offering. So there is some of the applications, some of the services could be running in private cloud. There is also some of the applications that could be running on the far end on a public cloud framework. And then there is, in the middle, there are some applications where they are run on-premise in your own data center, but maybe you need some help in managing that infrastructure. Maybe because there is a shortage in specific application skills, or maybe because your team needs some training and transformation and you need some time to get to the right level. So there is somewhere in between, there is a managed services offering that probably will be required for lots of organizations. And that's what we are bringing to the market. So we're bringing a comprehensive private cloud offering that is coupled with a powerful enterprise-ready public cloud provider. And you see here on the top the name VirtuStream. So that's, we think, is the first enterprise-ready public cloud provider available on the market today. So what does this mean? It means that when you are going on your cloud journey, depending on the need of the application, depending on the criticality of the data, depending on the phasing of the project, you decide where you need to host your data or your services, and you manage it through one framework, and there is someone to help in the management as well. So quickly, I want to give you just a couple points about VirtuStream because we think is important, it's relevant. It's a very comprehensive cloud offering, from a public cloud offering. It's enterprise ready. There have lots of enterprise caliber customers that are using this infrastructure, and they have been highly rated by different analysts. Now, one of the important things, again, we are talking here to lots of government entities. When you are using a public cloud infrastructure, you need to make sure that this cloud is ready for that type of service. And this is just a snapshot of some of the certifications that VirtuStream offering has acquired. If it is, for example, in the banking industry, PCI is certification is there. If you are in the healthcare, HIPAA is there. And there's actually in the North America, there are lots of government entities that are using this cloud for some of their application. So it is enterprise ready, and it has certifications according to various industries. Now, important fact is that the journey to the cloud is not necessarily a straightforward journey. You might require, as I said earlier, you might require some assistance with skills, with specific frameworks that are not readily available within your organization. And that's something that we offer comprehensively from VirtuStream. And essentially, we're offering expertise as needed on demand, right? To be used either on a long-term basis or on a short-term basis. So the people aspect, which is an important aspect of the cloud journey, we can help and assist you with. With that, there is obviously not everyone is at the same stage. So some of us might be still in the early days of thinking about whether I want to move to the cloud or not. Some of us, maybe they are made the decision and it's only about taking the specific practical steps. So we classify the different organizations, the different stages. We call them undecided, which is still thinking whether I want to go cloud or not. Some of them are already motivated and they just need a roadmap. And some of them are really ready to go and they need an execution plan. And we always see these different states for the different organization. And we have developed a comprehensive offering of services for these different situations. Because if I am undecided, probably what I need is like a workshop to try to understand how could cloud be related to my business in the early days. While if I am on the far right, I really need someone who can execute quickly with me and take me to the next step. So it's not not everybody is at the same state, and we have a comprehensive offering for these different states. With that, I want to remind you that you've heard now from me different names. You've heard VirtuStream, and we are essentially a federation of companies under the headline of EMC. We are offering different solutions from private cloud to converged infrastructure to public cloud to platform as a service to big data analytics, and these are the different names within the federation. Thank you for your time, and maybe later there will be some chance to have questions and discussions.
Thank you, Mr. Haider.